Hello, we are gonna be filming a video, but my kitty cat, I love you. I love you so much. But she stole my... She stole my chair. Are you the bestest cat in the world? Are you judging my hair? I'm judging my hair. Yeah, my hair is looking all kinds of crazy. I just took it out of my heatless curler, and I'm actually gonna be using this one. I got this from Half Magic. I'm just gonna be... Don't judge me too hard. No, actually, judge me all you like. Hi, I'm 41 years old, and I am currently wearing... What's this? A bunny? Off to a good start. Anyways, hello, welcome. This is gonna be a pretty chill video where I am gonna get ready and I am gonna be using makeup products, makeup techniques, and different kind of things that are not normally the kind of makeup that I go for. We are going to be doing pink cheeks, pink lips. I'm going to be doing no matte eyeshadows, and I'm going to be doing a pretty glowy base. And I'm just going to talk you through how I think when I want to experiment and when I want to try something new and still make it within my comfort zone. Because I feel like if you are doing makeup for the same reasons that I'm doing makeup, which is to have fun with makeup and to do something fun, I really think that there is a point in trying out things that you don't think is for you and just trying them out in new different ways. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is... This is the Lumi Le Glow tint, and I am going to be using a glowy primer with an already glowy foundation. The thing is that you can find, let me start, this is the Milk Hydro Grip in the shiny one. You can find a glowy foundation that works for your skin type, even though if you do not have dry skin. For example, I have combo skin. So if I use a typical glowy foundation that is meant for dry skin, and I use a glowy primer that is like a hydrating primer, that's game over. Game is over. Everybody go home, because it is just not gonna work out on my oily skin. Like, it's gonna break up. It's gonna look like porridge in my T-zone. Have you ever seen that? Absolutely atrocious. So I have to find something that I can use that works for me. So a gripping primer that has shimmer in it is gonna work to grip onto the foundation. This does not have anything to make my skin super hydrated. It is a gripping primer with shimmer. So my skin is gonna look glowy, but it is not dewy, oily, greasy. You do need to wash your hands after though, because I am literally on my way to see the Wizard of Oz right now. Okay, I zoomed in a little bit so you can actually see something, but here you can see it is very glowy, but it is not dewy. It is just tacky. So we are going to be putting on the L'Oreal Lumi. Like I said, this is a foundation that is extremely glowy. It is definitely going to be enhancing all kinds of things. It has a light to medium coverage, and it is glowy more in like the particles are glowy. It's not that the formula is like sticky or dewy or oily. This one does not break up on me. It does not move around a lot on my skin. So if you are looking for a base that looks very glowy and almost like dewy, but without being dewy, if you're like me and you have oily or oily combo skin, I definitely recommend this one. And also it's like fairly affordable from the drugstore. So I really think that this is just a really good formulation. But if you are looking for something that is full coverage, or something that is that like natural matte finish, or something that's not gonna enhance if you feel like you have texture and stuff, this might not be the one. But if you like a really glowy base, I do think that this is really pretty. Is this my shade right now? I don't have any tan, and I feel like I have a summer shade. I wanted to be by the pool today, but it is muggy and rainy, so that is not happening. I do think though that we are, and maybe this also is something like, you know, with getting out of your comfort zone, we are so stuck in this like cover your imperfections. And also I feel like we are obsessed with covering pores. It is okay for your skin to look like skin. It is okay if you can see some pores. I've always said on my channel, I prefer having, listen, glowy pores every time, every day, over having like just fully matte skin and just being like, I want to cover things up. I need to hide my skin. I need to make my skin not look like skin. Here you can see how glowy this is. It's glowy. But babes, it is okay if your pores are showing. My pores are showing too. It's okay. It's skin. You're supposed to have pores. It is okay to accept that the pores are there. And it's also okay to wear a foundation like this and then just powder in my T-zone, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna powder here where I do have my most largest pores, and most people do. And the older you get, you also get like this little dip here. And if you do feel like you want to wear a glowy skin, but this is probably the area that most people are like, ooh, that turned in too much, just heavy powder in that area. And I'll do that a bit and I'll show you. I'm just gonna wear a concealer, because I will say, when it comes to concealers, I feel like I do light coverage concealers, I do full coverage concealers. The only thing I don't do, and I actually don't even own that, I own a purple powder, but I'm definitely not tan enough to be getting, like, to be able to get that to work for me. I don't do pink powders. And maybe that could have been fun today because we are doing pink everything else, but I don't do pink under eye powder, and I don't even own one. I think what I had I've given away. But also I will say, I do think that we sometimes get into this like, well, that isn't flattering, that isn't made for your skin tone, that doesn't look good on you, you're not supposed to have that shade. But I feel like we sometimes forget that, like, our under eyes can also be part of your look. If you're doing a monochromatic look and you're doing a blue monochromatic look, a purple under eye powder to just almost like ties everything together. And having a pink under eye, if you're doing like a really romantic look, it's not always meant to be flattering. We're not always doing makeup to look our best version of ourselves, because what people think is the best version of ourselves is always a Western inspired, like, normative beauty. And we don't have to fall into that if we don't want to. If you want to, that's perfectly fine. Nothing against you either, because we all have our style, and we all have like what we feel comfortable in. But if you are just here to experiment, I really do hope that people will stop judging other people because they are wearing something that they wouldn't wear. The amount of comments I get on my channel telling me my hair looks weird, my nails are ugly, my skin doesn't look good, that is not your undertone, you should not be wearing that, that is not flattering, I know better than you really should change that. It's mind-boggling the way that viewers feel entitled to tell people that they should change what they like about themselves because it doesn't fit into the viewer's view or what they would wear or what they think is pretty. I would never tell you to change how you look. If you like how you like, how is that, what is that got to do with me? How is that something that I feel like I am entitled to do? I would never do that. And it is mind-boggling to me how we have normalized giving people unsolicited advice to fit in with this specific person's view of what they would pick for themselves. I'm not doing makeup telling you that you need to wear your makeup exactly like me. I'm just out here having fun, trying to inspire others to have fun as well. I'm gonna do a contour, which is something that I never do. This is the Dibs, I don't remember what this one is called. It's something like, this one is a shade Starlit, but this is the Contour Glowy Blush Duo, but we're not going to be doing the Glowy Blush. And I'm actually going to do just a little bit of bronzer first. I never contour. It's not something I do. I have pretty, I think you can see, I have pretty high cheekbones, and sometimes when I contour, I almost feel like it turns into just a little bit too much. So I'm gonna do a little bit of just a light layer of bronzer, a light bronzer, where the sun would hit me and where I just would like to darken up a little bit. And I'm using my own brushes. This is my own brand, Cinch Beauty, and I'm gonna use a F03, which is what I like to use for cream bronzer. And I'm just gonna blend this in, and I'm gonna use this as a light foundation for the contour so it doesn't get so obvious and so, I used to call it casket ready, but honestly, that's how I feel when I use only contour and no bronzer. And I have a sneaking suspicion that contour is making a comeback because I have seen so many contour products on the market. Like, it is, listen, we're living in a 2016 simulation. Contours are making comeback. Matte lipsticks are back. And I bet you at the end of this year, all those TikTok girlies are going to be teaching us this brand new technique that's called a half cut crease. So now that we are here, now it's when I'm gonna go in with some of the contour. And I think that contour, for me, when it starts to get too much, is when it starts to come down here and it almost gives me that hollowed out, somebody give me a meal, I'm dying. I don't want to contour my forehead. I have the smallest forehead in the world. I always joke with my husband that, you know, when you get older, your brows are getting out of control, and I'm just gonna have a unibrow that's not a unibrow here. It's just continuing into my hairline because I have like such a small forehead. So I only do bronzer because it doesn't matter how small my forehead is, the sun's still gonna hit it, but I don't contour there. So the only place I really contour is just up here, and I'm just gonna do a little bit, and I'm gonna blend it into the bronzer to just make it look a little bit more natural and not too gray on my kind of golden undertone. I'm also gonna do a little bit just here under my cheekbone. I will say one of the places that I'm always the palest is my neck. So I always have to like bronze down on my neck a bit, because otherwise it just looks like it's like detached from my both my head and my chest. Is just never the same shade. So I'm gonna do a little bit of contour here, and you can see the difference. This one is a little bit more contoured, but it's not overly gray because it still has that bronzer underneath. And I think that, again, like I said, contour, I think it's making a comeback, and I'm hoping we're not gonna go back to that, you know, the draw by numbers kind of a thing. But I don't think people really did that. I think a lot of makeup I'm using techniques very loosely here, but a lot of things that you see people do on social media, they do it for social media. They're not doing their makeup like that. And if you met them in real life when they were doing that paint by numbers, contour all over the face, it was probably gonna look really heavy on the skin, and there's no way that they were going to go through that an hour process if they're just going to buy, you know, milk at the grocery store. So I think that's a very important thing to remember as well, because I do think that there is a lot of creators out there that do their makeup just for YouTube, and I get that comment as well. They're like, oh, it's so easy for you to just do that makeup and then wash it off. But I don't wash off my makeup. I always wear my makeup, and I love wearing colorful makeup, and I do get a lot of compliments for my colorful makeup. So if you want to wear colorful makeup and you feel like it's maybe too much for you, just know that when you go out and about in it, people actually do appreciate it and give you really nice compliments for it. So if you want to be the person that's out in colorful makeup, I can tell you from personal experience that people are really just happy to see it. We're gonna do pink cheeks, and I'm gonna do no highlighter. You know, I love a wet, shiny, glistening kind of a cheek, and today we're only gonna do this really, she's pink, this really, really bright pink blush. This is the Huda Beauty blush formula, and I'm using this one because I know that this is not as pigmented as some other blush formulas. And again, if you want to get into something, make sure that if you're out of your comfort zone, like me with like, let me get a little bit more, with like a pink blush, make sure that you're using it at least in a formula that you kind of like, so that you are not, let me see if I can, do I have a clean brush here? This is almost clean. This is one of that, like, this is the refer one that they did with, is she Alexandra Anili, I think? I'm gonna use this one because I don't have any shimmer in this one. Make sure you're doing it in a formula that you're like used to, that you like. If you like powder, don't all of a sudden be like, I'm gonna try this color or this shimmer formula that I don't even like in a kind of a formula that I don't usually work with either. So I love working with this Huda liquid blushes. So now that she's coming out with it in a bright pink, I know I already like the formula, so it makes sense for me to try the bright pink in that formula. And also, since I am like a light medium skin tone, it also makes sense for me to not use a formula in this kind of a color that is just too overly pigmented, because it's going to be even more bright than this. And I feel like this is already, we're already heading into like blush blindness territory, which again doesn't really, it's not blush blindness. I'm fully aware. I'm not blind. 2020 vision, this is blush 2020, me being fully aware that it is a lot, but also like fully embracing it, because that's the look that I wanted to do today. I wanted to be a bright pink girly. This formula has a little bit of a sheen to it, so it makes the cheeks look dewy, even though it does dry down, which I also think will be a really good alternative, since I am not using a shimmery product. I'm not doing I don't want to build another dewy product upon a foundation that does dry down but is shimmery. I feel like that would just ruin the whole thing that we have going on, because the blush and this foundation have a very similar feel to them. They look glowy, but they dry down, which is really good if you, again, have like a combo skin or an oily skin. So this is very glowy. I'm gonna set a little bit in my T-zone. Then I'm gonna do my brows. And then we are gonna do pink glittery lips. I'm already having regrets. And we are gonna do an eye look without matte shadows, which is quite honestly something I almost never do. But first, just a little bit of powder under my eyes. And in this area, you know, this is the area where we are gonna have, if you do any like pores start showing, and also this is where I get the most oily, on my chin and around my nose. So just a little bit on my chin, and just to set the concealer. And I'm gonna show you the difference. So this is the difference. You can still see there is like very visible pores, and it's not as visible here. Like we got rid of some of that extreme visibleness, but then it's still like super glowy, the rest of it. So I feel like if you're doing a super glowy base and you have combo skin or oily skin, make sure to just be strategically powdering where you like know you actually really need it. Okay, so before we go into the eyes, I am going to be doing, this is from Colourpop. This is the So Juicy, and they came out with more of these, like, you know, the clicky sticks, you know, these. They're like balmy, and this is the shimmery version, and it is in the shade Cyberstar. Look at this. This is a Barbie pink. A Barbie pink click stick with glitter. I don't know what would be more out of my comfort zone than this. I'm going to be doing Muted Mauve by ABH. This is a muted mauve, so it's like a little bit of a pinky beige, because what I want is something that grounds the color a little bit. If I do a bright pink lip liner with this, it's gonna be like bam. I don't even know if I own a bright pink lip liner, but if you ever have something where you want to tone it down a bit, even a red lipstick, just use a little bit of a neutral lip liner together with it, and it will ground it a little bit and just bring it back into something that's not as bright and out there. And I love doing a lip liner, especially with a gloss. It's just going to be all over my face otherwise. So this is my tip if you want to try out those like really poppy glittery glosses for summer, because so many brands are doing glittery glosses, glittery oils, and glittery balms, but you're afraid it's going to be too bright, like it's going to be a bright color and it's going to be glitter. Do a neutral lip liner, it will help a lot. Okay, so this is where we're at right now. Like I said, this is Muted Mauve, and let's do this one. Okay, I'm afraid. This is the thing that's the most outside of my comfort zone, because I never do pink lips and I never do sparkly lips, and together, I shouldn't say never sparkly lips, it happens. Oh boy. Okay. It is a little bit more of a cool tone pink than what I'm used to, which if you do not have bleached teeth, which I do not, it doesn't really help with bringing out. It brings out, you know, a cool tone pink does bring out the yellowness of your teeth, especially if you do not have if you have a cooler undertone, you'll probably get away with it more. But I will say also, and I didn't even follow this tip myself with this one, if you're gonna try a color that's outside of your comfort zone, try doing it in an undertone that matches your undertone, because it's gonna be easier to get away with. A warmer tone pink would have matched easier with my undertone and making my teeth not look as yellow. But we live and we learn. At least it's different. I am gonna be using, even though I'm only gonna do shimmer shadows, I'm still gonna be doing my favorite eye primer. And again, if you're gonna be trying something different with your eye look, do it with a primer that you trust. I am gonna say it, and I know some people literally get upset with me in the comments when I say this, but I sometimes see people saying that they hate eyeshadow formulas that I love and that they use them without a primer. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there is not a single eyeshadow formula on the market, powder formula, that I like without a primer. I simply do not understand why I would use an eyeshadow without a primer. It makes the shadow easier to work with, it makes them not crease, it makes them look true to pan on the eyes, and it makes them last all day. So for me, using eyeshadow without a primer, it's like painting your walls without a primer. Like, why would you go through all of that hassle if you don't care about making the end result be as good as possible? My favorite is the Sigma Primer Sticks in Ignite. They do have other shades too, but Ignite is the one that fits me the best. And I'm gonna use, okay, this might be stupid. This is not what YouTubers should be doing. I have friends that never talk about products they like because they can't link it. And I think I'm gonna talk about a palette that I'm not even sure if it's available anymore. And this is the Smoky Glam by Bella Beauté Bar. But I wanted to do pink sparkles. And I found this one because this one has something that I wanna do, which is a darker sparkle that's a little pinky, and I want to do like an ombre effect, even though I'm not going to be using any of the mattes. And I think that they're either coming out with this palette again in new packaging, or they are redoing this palette into a smaller version. I honestly don't know which of the which. If I know, I'll put it in the description box down below because I am pre-filming this a little bit. But I think the quality of this palette is really good, but it's, as you can tell, it's just a little bit too big, quite honestly. But here's the thing, you know, I love playing with contrasts when it comes to eye looks, and I will always prefer mattes over shimmers. I'm a matte girly. That's why an all shimmer look is way out of my comfort zone. But something that I like doing is starting with dark and then going into something light, and we'll do that with shimmers. Oh, I need to change my battery as well. And I'm actually going to be doing, I think we'll be doing this one. It's almost like a purple, and then this one is like more of a mid pink. And I think we will be doing this one that's called Angel Eyes, simply because this one right here is more of that blue pink duochrome, which is not what I'm looking for in this specific time. I'm gonna be working, I think I might be working with an EO1, and then I'll blend it out with an EO4 if I can find one that doesn't have green on it. Okay, so with an EO1, I'm gonna put the shadows on and I'm gonna blend it out with an EO4. I'm gonna start with Velvet Crush, and I am gonna be spraying these shadows, especially since I'm only working with the shimmers. I'm gonna spray it, and then I'm gonna put this one over here. This is gonna be something. And I'm just gonna do them side by side. This one has a little bit of blue in it too, but maybe not a shift, more like it has blue shimmer in it. Definitely a little bit of fallout, but that is, I guess, to be expected when I'm trying to pack on as much shimmer as possible. Again, I don't prefer working with only shimmers, but if you do, or if you're stuck in a situation where that is where you are left with, I'm gonna show you something that actually works. So this is the second one, it's called Playful. Again, we're doing a darker purpley pink, and then a mid-tone, almost like brighter pink shimmer. This would, I would say, like almost like a darker, like candy floss pink. I'm just packing it on. And then we're ending with Angel Eyes. If you want to, you can put this shadow into the inner corner. I don't like shimmer in my inner corner, so I'm actually just gonna skip that. And I'm also gonna keep no shadows on my lower lash line. I'm only gonna do the shimmer on the top lash line. And I am gonna match this with a colored eyeliner instead and make the look work in that way. So what I'm gonna do now is that I'm just gonna, with an EO4 without any additional product, I'm just gonna buff a little bit on the edge and just soften that up a little bit so that it looks like a little believable. This is giving, like, you know, ballet core, just ethereal eyes. It is really cute. I wish I had mattes, but this still works if you're left with only shimmers, or if you like only shimmers. And again, sometimes it is a good idea to try things that you think you don't like, just to see maybe you actually do. If you just try them in a different way, try a different technique, try a different color, try it together with something you actually like, you might end up enjoying it. I don't think that this is bad. It's just, I wish it was matte. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna make this all shimmer look be more me. I'm like, I see a sparkle. I'm gonna use, I don't use these enough. And maybe this is also like a little bit outside of my comfort zone. These are those like multi-chrome liners. This is the one from Colourpop. This one is in the shade Pixie. So this is like a green to a gold to this like almost like a pinky purple. So I'm gonna do this basically all around my eyes. And I also will say, something that would definitely, because this is going to end up being a little bit more dramatic now that I'm doing a liner, and something that probably would be even, I'm using my E12, even more out of my comfort zone would be no lashes. But I'm sorry, I'm not doing a dramatic eye look and no lashes. I'll show you how it looks before lashes, but I'm going to be the one wearing this all day, so I definitely would want lashes. And again, it's all about like what we like and what's like our style. So I use this E12 to help to perfect the line. You can see it just really makes it super sharp. And we are gonna see if we can do a little bit here and a little bit into. And I am gonna do in my inner corner too. And again, this brush comes very in handy if you want to do these little details. One thing that I don't like is leaving your waterline bare. So I'm gonna fill that one in too, even though I don't necessarily think that multi-chrome liners look the best on the waterline, because I don't think that that's an area that gives the most like multi-chrome. But can you see the difference on how cool this look is now? This is more ethereal and cute, but this is a sexy Barbie. Okay, so this is where we are at right now. I'm having the eyeliner, which is a shimmery liner, which is also like making it a little bit different. I'm wearing only mascara, and I know a bunch of people are gonna say, I think this is perfectly fine. And I think we all should be wearing the things that we like. I personally like wearing false lashes. It's part of my persona. It's just something I like. So I'm gonna put on a half lash, and then I am actually gonna do a little styling as well. I'm wearing this little bodysuit right now, and I'll just fix my hair, and I'm gonna bring out 2 pieces that I'm gonna be wearing together with this bodysuit to just like complete my look. Just show you like maybe like how I'm thinking as well, to just style this like really easy just tank top into something different. That's not too sexy or too weird. It's something that's just my style, because I've been talking a lot about my style. I had a video about that quite recently as well, like my fashion style and the things I like to wear. So I thought we'd end with a little bit of styling. I'm having some fun water. This is the sparkling water with clementine and passion fruit from H-E-B. a Texas favorite. So I have my things here behind me that I am gonna be wearing. I did pull out my hair. I think it looks really cute, and I am gonna be wearing, I bought one of these. I love these. You know, I love paisley. I love paisley, and this one has these like really cute like little tassels on it. And Western fashion, like cowboy girl fashion, is still very, very popular. And I love the Western boho feel, and I always wear these in my hair, but I am gonna wear this as a necklace, which is not what I usually do, but I thought I'm gonna like try and style it like that, and we can see how it looks, because I actually think that this looks really cute, right? I actually like this a lot. And I also love layering like short shirts over, so I think that's what we're gonna be doing. Wait, I like that. That's so cute. That's so cute. I like that a lot. So I have this tank top, and just like, I don't know if I'm gonna have this like on top or if it's gonna be underneath. Oh, actually, that's really cute. Oh, that's so cute. Okay. I don't like preppy. Preppy is not really my style, but I kind of like retro, like, because this is like paisley. It's almost like giving 70s preppy, and I'm not against that. I think that's pretty cute, and it works with this eye look as well. That's a little bit more on not as dramatic that I usually do. So I'm really happy about this. I will leave the things that I'm using down in the description box. This was just a fun, something that I've had my mind on for a bit, just talking through like the importance of trying new things, because you never know what you'll like unless you try it in a bunch of different ways. And sometimes we can know that like, listen, this is definitely not for me, and we'll leave it at the wayside. For me, a frosty light lipstick is just not for me. I've tried it so many different ways. I don't like it. I also don't like a heavy ombre lip. Again, I've tried it so many ways. I just don't like it unless the darkness is in the inner part of the lip. Then I do like it. So maybe that's my way of coming to terms with an ombre lip, is doing the darkness in the inner part of the lip. That's also really, really pretty. Let me know if there's any other, because I've been trying to approach YouTube in, I don't want to say new way, but maybe new for me, where I've been doing 50% content that's the kind of content that I know is going to do fairly good view-wise, that people on the bigger is fairly interested in on YouTube. And then I've been trying to sprinkle in things that, quite honestly, I don't think will do that well on YouTube, but it's something that I enjoy doing, and it's playing with not always new makeup, shopping my stash, finding new ideas, trying new concepts, and the ones that do watch those videos tend to really enjoy them. So please let me know how you feel about that down below. If you have not subscribed yet, I would love to see you subscribe, because I do upload quite a lot of videos, mostly about beauty and makeup here on my channel, but I do sprinkle in some other things as well. And I will see you really soon in a new video. Bye!